Hey, this is Neil Trotter from KCRH Hayward, 89.9 FM, and we're here with Creative Director
Richard Ham of Splash Damage.
Cool. I was just checking out the demo. There's a lot of cool things happening, and I just want to talk a little bit more about the class system that's involved and how diverse it is. So, how many classes are there so far?
Okay, yeah. Well, we're going for 4 classes, and they're really, I'll be honest, they're kind of standard shooter classes. You got your soldier, you got your medic, your engineer, and your operative, kind of spy guy. And we really chose just like some bog standard ones because we really wanted to create something that just anybody could jump into, immediately understand, and okay, a soldier, I get it. A medic, I get it. But there's more to it than that, because we wanted to do something kind of special with all of them. Like, a big part of Brink is that we're really trying hard to actually create a multiplayer experience where players really do have a good reason and really do go out of their way to play together, to be really good teammates. And like one of the core things about all the classes is, you think you kind of understand the basics. Yeah, soldier, right? He blows stuff up and he's got the best guns. Okay, I get it, but we made the conscious choice to make the soldier also the guy who's got all the extra ammo. So he actually has a reason to, not just be off by himself. There's actually stuff he can do to interact with his team. Normally, medic's the only guy who ever has a reason to actually walk up and touch somebody else. But like our engineer, when he's not off repairing stuff and building stuff, he can actually run up. And I don't think we actually showed it in the demo, but you can kind of see, if you look really close when he's running around as an engineer, you see how the X pops up on his teams. And what it says is, would you like to upgrade, teammate number 3's weapon? So he can actually run up and actually make his buddy a better killing machine. And again, so it's all about actually having these direct interactions where they almost reach out and touch each other. That I think is really important and kind of special, because it's what multiplayer should be about. Should be about working together.
Yeah, cool. So another thing in the demo I noticed is that there's a lot of things happening at once. So many things happening. I think did you set it up so that there's like tailored specific events for each class?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, the events come about because of what the players do. That's the really big thing. Now, its core, every mission is always going to have just like, one central thing that everybody can count on. The mission you just saw was all about the team. We got to escort this, bomb defusing robot to the objective so it can cut its way in, and then we can dispose of the stuff. But then you actually see at the end, it's not what actually happens. So there was actually a surprise. But you might have another mission of we got to go in, we got to revive the guy who's like about to die and then get him out to safety, or we got to go in and we got to blow something up. These really standard kind of like the spine of a mission, and that's going to be the same every time because everybody knows, well, that's what we got to do to win as a team. We got to do that. But what happens in between all those big moments is what makes the game really special, because we've got this system. It's not a particularly sexy name. We call it the objective wheel, and it's basically this big radial menu that comes up. And at any given time, doesn't matter who you are, when you bring that thing up, there's always going to be at least 4 or 5 or 6. Sometimes, we could actually have a lot more, but we've actually found more than 6 is just too much. It's like, I'm overwhelmed. But there's always a handful of things that, in addition to the core, you could be doing all these other things. Like, you might have a mission where, hey, we got to focus on blowing the thing up, but there's some civilians. Somebody go and save those civilians, and anybody could say, well, you know what? I'm actually going to go save the civilians. So I would actually use the wheel and say, oh yeah, there's civilians on the field. Okay, I'm going to go do that, because I could go and try to blow up the main thing. There's a lot of guys over there. That's a lot of action. If I go over there, I'll die over and over and over again because I'm just not very good. So that's not the thing for me. So the game is recommending, well, why don't you go help these civilians? Because if I do, I get them out, my entire team gets an experience point bonus for the rest of the match, so they're earning twice as much. So, I help everybody by doing that. So I say, yeah, I'm going to do that. Now I use the wheel and boom. And so, the arrow pops up, will lead me where to go through the world, which is a big deal. In multiplayer shooters, you often find, yeah, I'm going to go in and play. And now I'm playing with people who've been in this level for about 1,000 hours, know it backwards and forwards, know all the secret tricks, and I'm just lost all the time. So it's really important that everybody can just jump in and have fun. That's like the number one thing. So I say I'm going to do the civilians. The game actually leads me to it. And because I've actually said, I've chosen the objective that's going to pay me, 1,000 experience points or whatever, I've now created new objectives for my teammates. You might be a soldier. And I'm a medic, so I'm going to go, rescue the civilians. I choose that. You now get a new objective saying, would you like to shield me and actually, provide cover for me? Now, you don't have to. You might just be focusing on the main thing. But if our system determines that, everybody would be having more fun right now if you were to actually come along with me. We'll actually make that a more attractive thing for you. And we'll actually make it worth more experience points than normal to encourage you, to bribe you, really, to bribe you to come and help me. So you come along and do it. And so now we're like a two-man team. It's just kind of happened very naturally. It's not because we both have mics and I'm saying, come on, man, come and help me, because you'll just tell me to blow. I was going to say something worse, but this is radio. So you'll just tell me to take a hike. But when the game tells you, it seems like much more official, And so you feel like, well, yeah, I will do that because I can see the benefit. So now we're a two-man team going to do this thing. We've now created a new threat. And suddenly there's like almost a two-front war. Yeah, there's still the main thing. The other team is trying to prevent our team from blowing up this objective, but they now get a new objective of, hey, there's a two-man team going off trying to rescue these civilians. Maybe somebody should peel off and go stop that. And so it creates this whole new thing that just kind of grew organically out of just the middle of a mission. And there's tons of examples of that. Civilians, command posts, like I was saying earlier, those upgrades. Because if you are the soldier who could actually blow up the door that we need to blow up right now, and you've actually said, yes, I will do that, as an engineer, I'll get a new objective saying, this guy needs support. Go up and buff his weapon, make him more powerful because you need it. And it's all these kind of things that just create this sense of this really dynamic battlefield where every time you play, different stuff happens because your friends are doing things different, your enemies are doing different, and you get different outcomes. So you really kind of never get bored.
Cool.
If you pull it off.
Let's go. There's a lot of emphasis on multiplayer.
Yeah.
So how about the single player
mode?
Let's
talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so storyline wise is really involved. How long we're looking at in game play.
Well, okay. You're right. We are, Splash Damage. We made the Enemy Territory games, which were huge hits. I mean, Enemy Territory, Wolfenstein is still like number 3 most played online PC shooter. It's like 1 billion matches have been played online. Ridiculous. So obviously, that's our background, and we're going to keep on pushing that. But now that we're moving over to console, we really do want to expand our horizons and get players who wouldn't touch multiplayer with a 10-foot pole, just because they've had bad experiences or it's just a nasty place. We really want to get them involved because, when it works, they're missing out on something really fantastic. So it's really important that we do have a strong, storyline, because that's a really great vehicle to get players involved and invested in the world. And so what's going to happen is you jump into the storyline. We expect, hey, let's say you don't like playing multiplayer games at all. You still pick up Brink because you've heard it has a great story, great action, great role-playing elements, great character customization, all these really kick-ass features. Can I say kick-ass?
That's cool.
Sweet. all these great features. And so you're just going to start playing the game. And you go into the story.